Hello everyone. Welcome to Sriram's IAS. Myself Srishankri, Alay Shiva Ignatius. So we are connecting for the fourth session of NCERT. Today we'll try to complete, the 11th NCERTs and then we'll move to the 12th standard NCERT. So as you all know that we have been discussing the 11th standard NCERT, right? So we will continue from there. And we were in the middle of global warming. So we'll first complete this, then we'll move to the next NCERT. Okay. So as we have completed till the climate change, before that till the vegetation, and now we have started the climate change. Inside that, we have begun with the global warming, and we yesterday left from here that the greenhouse gases. So we said what is meant by greenhouse, right? So from here we have to take over. We have explained this, so we'll go to greenhouse gases. So what are those greenhouse gases which are present? As you can see here, this is also an important topic, so you have to keep in touch. And we all know about this, the carbon dioxide, which is prevalent, throughout the atmosphere. So we can see that this trace gas, which has to be in the limited amount, is exceeding the far limit. So as of that, the other, greenhouse gases is also the chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. This not only is raising the temperature, when it reaches a stratosphere, the CFCs, when it reaches the stratosphere, it's completely depleting the ozone. I already told in the initial classes, in the initial NCRTs, I asked you to mark about the ODS, ozone depleting substances. I asked to mark about the stratospheric ozone and tropospheric ozone. The stratospheric ozone, I told you, it's very important in protecting us. Whereas tropospheric ozone is acting as a, again a greenhouse gas, I can say. Okay, it's a harmful gas which is present there, which is in the lower layer ozone. So this stratospheric ozone is depleted by this chlorofluorocarbon, which reaches the stratosphere. So it's not only greenhouse gas, it's also depleting the ozone. So we call this as ODS, ozone depleting substances. Okay. So then the methane and nitrous oxide, all these are some of the greenhouse gases. And here they have mentioned about ozone. It is not that ozone which is present in the stratosphere. It is a tropospheric ozone again. Okay. So as you can see this, some other gases like nitric oxide, carbon monoxide can also react with the greenhouse gas and then they alter the concentration. So again, there goes another chemical reaction inside. Same way, even you can see this statement, the effectiveness of any greenhouse gas, it depends on the magnitude of the increase in its concentration, its lifetime in the atmosphere, and the wavelength of the radiation that it absorbs. So note this point. This is important. So when you're writing about, generally when you're describing about certain protocol, okay, for example, Kyoto Protocol, so Montreal, like this, when we are discussing about the protocols and the related problems, even Stockholm Convention, ODS, right, related to ODS. So like this, when we're discussing, instead of generally writing that the greenhouse gas molecule, we have to write this way, that this three statements has to be present there. How you are going to measure the effectiveness of greenhouse gases? That is how harmful a greenhouse gas is in the environment. So we are writing a statement like that. So this three statements has to present these 3 points. What are those? That means how harmful a greenhouse gas depends on the magnitude of the increase in its concentration. So how much level it can again increase, and its lifetime in the atmosphere. So how long it will stay in the atmosphere once emitted, how long it will be there in the atmosphere. That's why we are saying the carbon dioxide is very harmful greenhouse gas which is present there, and that's called as a life period. Okay, so of the greenhouse gas, and the wavelength of the radiation that it absorbs. So how much radiation that the what is the problem that when IR, that is long wave, IR radiation is emitted by the earth, the greenhouse gases which is present in the atmosphere is absorbing it, right? That's the problem. It is tapping it. It's not allowing it to escape. And it is again sent back to the earth. That warms the earth. So how much wavelength of radiation this particular greenhouse gases is able to absorb. So all this will decide the potentiality of that greenhouse gases. Okay. So the chlorofluorocarbon are highly effective. So if you are comparing, they are comparing like this: ozone, which absorbs UV radiation in the stratosphere, He's also very effective in observing the terrestrial radiation when it is present in the lower troposphere. That means they are talking about tropospheric ozone, as we have already said. So it is also acting as a greenhouse gas. And another point to be noted is that the greenhouse gas molecule, how long it will remain in the atmosphere. Okay, so the longer it will take for Earth's atmospheric system to recover from any change brought about by the latter. So how long it is going to stay in the atmosphere, then that much period the damage effects will be there. So the largest concentration of greenhouse gas in the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. That's why I told you it's the largest gas. It's a gases which is present in the atmosphere, the largest gas we can say. So that's why they are saying the concentration level is higher, and the emission of CO2 comes mainly from the fossil fuel combustions, as we all know. The oil we are using, the gases and coal, everything. When you're burning, it is releasing the carbon dioxide. As of now, I also said the other sources. See, when we are talking about the carbon dioxide cycle, carbon cycle otherwise. So I told you that only the natural sources is given there. You can add up certain more sources. Here is the source. You can take from here, add it in the cycle. So when you are adding, when you are mentioning the carbon cycle, they have given only the respiration and the decaying of the dead organisms. But this is also the source, the burning of fossil. You can add a column called, I think here only we have that cycle, I hope. Let us go to that section. If not, no, it is in the other NCERT. So you can add there, and you can put anthropogenic sources, and then you can write first one, mainly burning of fossil fuels. It can be of anything. It can be industrial combustion. It can be vehicular exhaustion. It can be the wood which humans are cutting down the trees, then burning the wood. That's also a form of emission of carbon dioxide. Okay, and even the industrial emissions, even vehicular emissions. Everybody is using the fossil fuels, and the combustion of fossil fuels will exit this carbon dioxide. And apart from that, the forest, as you can see, and the oceans are acting as sinks for carbon dioxide. This also we have mentioned in the diagram, I hope. So forest use carbon dioxide in their growth. So deforestation due to changes in land use increases the concentration of carbon dioxide. When you're reading these kind of topic, you have to be very careful, extra careful, because certain information which is not available in any books will be here. Even the books who have written this particular topic would have taken the basic content from this NCERT only. Okay, so not only this due to the fossil fuel usage, then you can say the deforestation is another major problem which is releasing this carbon dioxide. And for that, you can also mention about the changes in land use pattern. Put hyphen and write deforestation, right? Then see this, the time taken for atmospheric carbon dioxide to adjust to changes in sources is around 20 to 50 years. This is all extra information they're giving about carbon dioxide. It is rising at about 0.5% annually. So this much amount is increasing in the atmosphere. Okay, so imagine, I already told that 1% is left out for trace gases. Now, this carbon dioxide alone is increasing around 0.5% annually. Then imagine doubling of, that is not in that comparison. In the totally they are increasing 0.5%. Doubling of concentration of carbon dioxide over the pre-industrial level is used as index for estimating the changes. Okay, this can leave. Chlorofluorocarbons come to this area. Are products of human activity. So this is another major havoc we have created. Ozone occurs in the stratosphere. This we are talking about stratospheric ozone, which protects the human from ultraviolet rays. Already we have told this. So how ultraviolet rays is formed, how ozone is formed and all, that is a separate topic for that. Even you can read the statement. The depletion of ozone molecule, O2 molecule will lead to the formation of ozone, because ozone's formula is O3, as you know. So O2 breaks down and it becomes a molecular O, and then it combines with O2 and then they form O3. So this way UV rays are responsible for that. It's a natural phenomena. It occurs. And this is mainly occurring naturally to protect the organisms which are living in the earth. So what we are doing, we are releasing the CFCs. CFCs is also doing this damage to the ozone, and it depletes the ozone. So that becomes a big hole. And that's, we can say, the ultraviolet rays do not reach the Earth's surface. For that, we have this ozone. But CFCs, which drift in the stratosphere, destroys this ozone. Okay. And the larger depletion of ozone occurs over Antarctica. That's why we call that an Antarctica, a hole over Antarctica. So ozone hole. Depletion of ozone concentration in stratosphere is called as the ozone hole. This allows the UV rays to pass through and is going to cause serious damage to the organisms. Both animals, plants, and humans all are going to get affected because of this. And we talked about the Kyoto Protocol as GHG's emission, which is managed by this convention called as Kyoto Protocol. So there they have mentioned about Kyoto Protocol. So what you have to do, you have to surf down certain information related to Kyoto Protocol. So how it is, when it has been passed, when it came into effect, that and all, even here it is given. In 2005 it came into effect. And now, how many countries are abiding by this Kyoto Protocol? And what is the target which is mentioned in under the Kyoto Protocol? Okay, so how much reduction in GHG gases has to be brought under this Kyoto Protocol? That way, you have to make small notes, stick it here for the Kyoto Protocol, right? Then, yes. So this you can leave. Come to that. So this they have given about the effects of global warming. What global warming is going to do? As you can see, it is going to affect the life supporting system. Rise in sea level. Main problem is rise in sea level. So this is another major problem, which is like a continuous cause and effect, which is going to happen because of climate change, global warming. Because of global warming, rise in sea level. Because how rise in sea level happens? Due to melting of glaciers. Okay, so this way that sea level over the entire earth is going to rise, as well as going to submerge most continental areas as well as the highlands. Okay, so this is going to lead to a lot of social problems. Not only this, it is also going to pour in a lot of refugees, because those people who are residing near the coastal areas is going to move to another places for their life. So this is going to bring a lot of environmental refugees. So you can write this rise in sea level. And this is a serious concern, okay? So already we are taking a lot of efforts. One effort is Kyoto Protocol, as we all know. And again, as you can see this, that's it. They have not discussed much. So you can just make note about Kyoto, and then I hope that's that much. So here it's over. So we'll move to the next NCERT. Shall we? So we have completed this 11th. We'll go to the 11th NCERT. That physical environment. Physical environment. What can we do with this NCERT? See this here again. We have already discussed, those topics is appearing again. I told you in the higher classes also you'll come across this topic, especially the vegetation and the forest. So in this, the types of forest are there, and already we have done some created some notes for forest, and even under the biome we had some notes. Club everything. Okay, since this I have to go class by class, I'm doing like this. If not, I would have definitely done based on the topic wise. So now what you have to do, you have to make notes. Otherwise, if you're studying by NCERT, you can attach here. Here you can just write the page numbers, chapter numbers of the previous classes NCERTs, which is having or carrying the same topic, so that it will be easy for you. And there also you can mention that in the 11th standard we are having this topic, so it will be easy for you to connect, right? So now we come to this particular section. See, I am doing a bit fast because we have to complete till the 12th NCERT. Yeah? So today we have to complete this, and most probably the 12th biology also I have to start. Right, we'll go to this particular topic. As you can see this, yes, tropical forest, tropical evergreen and semi-evergreen forest that they have given. See this. These are details which I told you to note. Already we have done it. So you can again give a reading. If anything extra there, you can pick it up. So we are saying that these types of forests are found in the Western Ghats, okay, Northeastern region, Andaman and Nicobar. That's what it is given. So abruptly, these forests are found only here. There's no changes. Even there is a map I think they have given. See, already I gave you a colorful map. In one of the NCERT, you found a colorful map. So try to follow that. Additionally, here you are going to see this swamp forest. I think that was not there. So, but here there is a swamp forest. Okay, so that is mangrove forest mainly. So as you can see, generally you have to look for location, then the temperature and the precipitation level, humidity. Okay, and here additionally they have given that the layers of the forest are well stratified. As previously we have seen that there were multi-layer structure, canopy structure. Same way, It is well stratified. The structure, it has a proper structure, the evergreen forest. Like with the layers, that's what they are saying. The multi-layer canopies, we said, no, that was given in different format in this way. Well stratified, with the layers closer to ground are covered with shrubs and creepers, with short structured trees followed by tall varieties of trees. This otherwise we call this as tier structure. Tier structure or multi-layer structure. Already we have done in the lower classes. Anna, I hope you remember. Multi-layer canopy structure, and even used to asked in UPSC exam. It will be asked. Even the previous topic we discussed, no, climate change. That will be always dynamic topic, movement topic. I can say, not a dynamic topic, movement topic. Most often you will be receiving a lot of questions from those topics every year, even including your mains, right? So that this is the same point only, and we also saw that a diagram, beautiful diagram we have seen, no? So in that 60 meter, the emergent layer will go up to 60 meter. So imagine how much tall that tree is, huh? So this point very clearly they have given here. There is no definite time to trees to shed their leaves, flowering and fruiting period. There is no definite time. Okay, so that means the forest appears always green. So that's the main reason for this forest. And this trees already we have learned. If any additional trees are there, pick it up and put anywhere, either here or there. So semi-evergreen forests are found in less rainier parts of this. If the rain is not too much, there is no too much rainfall, around 200 centimeter you're not receiving, then in that areas and all you can find semi-evergreen forest. Okay, so they will have a mixture of evergreen and the deciduous trees that we call the semi-evergreen forest. It is also a rainforest only, but it is not completely evergreen. It's a semi-evergreen. That means mixture of evergreen trees and mixture of deciduous trees will be found there. As we have seen, evergreen forest is one forest. Deciduous forest is another type. No, in between this, there lies another kind, another small variation of forest called a semi-evergreen forest. That's why they have given. So the undergrowing climbers provide evergreen character to these forests. Like mainly this forest will include species like cedar, howlock, kale, these types of trees you can find in this forest. But climbers will also be present in evergreen forest. Is also present in semi-evergreen forest. We said no about epiphytes and lianas. You can note here near this epiphytes. Epiphytes are mainly found in rainforest. They are talking about these climbers which are called as lianas. Lianas will be found mainly in semi-evergreen. They are also found in evergreen, but majority you can find in semi-evergreen forest because lianas are a type of deciduous only, having a deciduous characters. So they are found in evergreen, but it should be a semi-evergreen forest. But epiphytes are aptly the characteristic of evergreen forest, as we all know. So mainly in the questions, they will not ask semi-evergreen, evergreen. They are generally asking it as evergreen only. If they are asking, both can be present in the evergreen, that is equatorial forest. Right, now come to the next forest. See whatever information we can take. So this is about the destruction of forest, how this evergreen forest is destroyed by the British for the timber. So now it is occupied by plantations everywhere, especially in southern India and all. Properly plantation trees like eucalyptus is occupying the area. Then comes to tropical deciduous forest. See this, that temperature ranges should be 70 to 200. Here we got another point. See, can you see this monsoon forest? Previously we gave another name for evergreen forest. It is called as evergreen or equatorial forest. Like that we said no. Same way, this deciduous forest can also be called as monsoon forest. So this is the most widespread forest in our country. If you see in the map also, when we saw the small classes in the old NCERTs also, so that sorry, previous NCERTs also, we have seen the map. There, majority of the area, the peninsular areas and in the central India, these forests are distributed. So it has 72. Here, based on that, we are 70 to 200. Based on this, we are splitting it into two types. One is moist, another is dry. So you can give another name for this forest called as monsoon forest. Put a hyphen and write here only. So if suppose they are mentioning about monsoon forest in your question paper, you should know it is about deciduous forest. Okay. So then come to this. Rainfall is like this. And where and all you can find them? In the northeastern states, in the foothills of Himalayas. That's why I told it. Nearby the foothills, you will be finding this. But in the northeastern state, properly you will be having evergreen forest in certain places. And this, even northeastern states, after the evergreen forest, you will find this deciduous forest only. And the foothills of Himalayas, eastern slopes of Western Ghats. Western slopes has evergreen forest, eastern slopes has deciduous forest. And teak, you should never forget. Teak, sal, shisham, These types of trees you can find only in the deciduous forest. In that, teak is the predominant species. Dominantly, you'll be finding everywhere. Okay, apart from the sandalwood trees, also you can find. So, dry deciduous forest covers, and they have given all these regions. And come to this particular place. See, this point you would have not seen in the older versions. The higher rainfall regions of the peninsula plateau and the northern. Okay, come to this one. These forests have a parkland landscape that is dry deciduous. They're talking about dry deciduous forest mainly. They have parkland landscape. What is this parkland landscape? That means it is an open stretch of land. You can find lot of grasses present there. In between, you will find trees. Then and there, you will find a tree. Okay, so mainly this tree species will be teak only. That's why I told teak is the dominant tree here. So in which teak and other trees interspersed with patch of grass are common. So when dry season begins, okay, when there is less rainfall, what happens? The trees will try to shed their leaf. To cope up with the drought, they will try to shed the extra load they are carrying. No? So they will try to shed their leaves completely, they will shed. So it looked like a naked tree. Right, so that's why we can see this forest appears like a vast grassland with the naked trees all around. That is called as parkland landscape. So try to read these types of statements, and this here tend to axolotls, palas, these types of trees you'll be finding. Then come to this particular tropical thorn forest. You all know where it exists. Nearby the desert areas, you'll be finding these types of forest. So where the rainfall is less than 50 centimeter, already we have done all these things. You can give a reading. So which are the areas which are having these forests, give a reading. Then these types of trees which are present here. Okay. So this also you can read. Even you can give a reading about the Stasoki grass, right? Which are present near the thorn forest. You will find this Stasoki grasses only in the scrubland. You will be finding them. Then mountain forest. Already we have done it. We already we told that it shows different variations in the forest as you move from the base. As you move from 1,000-meter height to 3,000-meter height and above that, you'll be finding differentiation as you move from tropics towards the polar regions. Same way that is given here also. Right? The Himalayan ranges show succession of vegetation from the tropical to the tundra, you can see. In the tropical area, you'll find dense forest. No, you'll find in the foothills of Himalayas, you'll find dense forest. Then as you move towards, move higher, you'll find grasslands. Then completely it is covered by snow. Some mosses and lichens will be present there. So that way there is variation in the vegetation. So you can see this deciduous forest. We told no, in the foothills of Himalayas will be finding moist deciduous forest. So that will be found in the foothills of Himalayas. And after that, you'll be finding temperate types of forest will appear. So it is less dense and in the altitude of 1,000 to 2,000 meter. Higher hill ranges of northeastern India, you'll be finding evergreen broadleaf trees such as oak, chestnut, like this you can give a reading. And even pine forest. This is another small category of forest, like how we talked about the semi-evergreen forest. Pine forest is a unique character of the Himalayas. Somewhere around 1,500 to 1,750 meter, you'll find these forests. Okay, there you will find chir, pine, these types of trees, and the devdar. They call this locally as devdar. Properly, its name is deodar. Okay, so these are endemic species which will be only growing there. Then come to the. So you are reading about the trees and wherever they are present. Pine trees, blue pine, like this, you will be finding some trees in these regions. So they have described it till 3,000, 4,000 meter, what and all you will be finding. And silver fir, junipers, pine, rhododendrons, these trees will be appearing around 3,000 to 4,000 meter. Then comes the, see this. At higher altitudes, mosses and lichens becomes part of tundra vegetation. Then same way they have described in the southern mountainous forest, how in southern regions. And there is one unique forest. See this. The Western Ghats, we are talking of India's Nilgiris here, how the forest occurs. Like since the region itself closer to tropics, you will find very lush vegetation and mainly tropical forest will appear here. And above, as you move forward, as you move uphill, okay, vegetation becomes temperate. Like how in Himalayas we face temperate vegetation, same way here also we will find temperate forest. Base, we will find tropical forest. Upper, as you go, you will find temperate forest. And especially near Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, you'll be finding subtropical forest, not temperate forest, but subtropical forest. And also, there is kind of certain forest and grassland called as shola. Make a note about that. Shola grassland is also there. Shola forest, we call this like that. Okay, so here there is one species which is called as Nilgiri Tahar, which is endemic to Nilgiri mountain. Previously, throughout the Western Ghats, you'll find this person, Nilgiri Thar. It's a mountain ungulate. It's a one and only mountain ungulate. In northern side, we have 3-4 species. Okay, so Thamin is there, screw is there. Like that, we have 3-4 species. Even ibex is there. But this is a one and only mountain ungulate which is present in the southern mountain, especially the Western Ghat. And we have already killed him. So he is now present in a very limited area near the, as you can see, the Kerala, near the Munnar, in that area only. Iravikulam National Park is there. There we'll find this particular person. So when you are doing a particular, I told you know, this type of forest, Shola forest or Shola grasslands, which is very unique, which is present in Western Ghats only, where only endemic tree species are present, native tree species. They are also calling this as a kind of cloud forest. They're saying this is to be a cloud forest type only. They are talking like that. So this way, this forest is having a certain uniqueness in itself. In one such endemic species which is present, there is Nilgiri Thar. Okay, so you'll find this forest near Palani Hills, Anamalais, and Nilgiris. You'll find them. Right. So they have given the tree species also. What are the significant trees which you can find there? So these types of trees you can see. Then come to swamp forest. Swamp forest, they're talking about the forest which is located in the swampland. Okay, so where the estuarian areas, as you can see, since it is filled with trees, we call this as swampland. If it is filled with grasses, we call that as marshland. That's the difference. Okay, so you should not confuse. Somewhere they are saying marshes, somewhere they are saying swamps. What is the difference? So marshes means it's like it is called as marshland or marshes. Anyway, you can call them. So where it is nothing but same way where you will find the water is above the land. Okay, water should be above land. At the same time, there should be grasses should be dominantly present. Then we call that as marshland. If water is above land and if it is filled with the trees, then we call this as swamps or swampland. Okay, so this particular littoral forest is there for the mangrove type of forest which is present near the coastal areas. Then what it is estuaries. We are saying estuaries which carries these trees. So these types of forest, if you see, the Forest Survey of India has included this mangrove forest also is a part of forest, and they are doing assessment. So you can see this, we can read, see, not this two sites as protected as waterfall habitats, and the Convention of Wetland International Importance, Ramsar Convention said that is there. No, now around 64 sites is there. Every day it is keep on increasing. I don't know even if it has increased or not. When I was writing my book and I completed my book, when I was writing it is 57 sites, and when I completed writing in 3 months, they increased it to 64 sites. Okay, even 75 sites I think now. So keep check of that. So like this, you can see it is keep on increasing. Okay, the sites, number of sites is keep on increasing, and as you can see here, one statement is wrong. That's I want to notify for you. This and all you need not read. This and all is not necessary. Come to the lower area. See this. In India, this detail is important, but there is some thing which you have to correct. The mangrove forest is not spread around 6,740 square kilometers, which is 7% of the world's mangrove forest is there, no? So as per the Forest Survey of India, now we are having around 4,975 square kilometer of mangrove forest. And which state you have to, after this, you should not stop here. You should add a few more details. Which state tops in the mangrove cover? So when you are mentioning this, you can mention that almost 3% of the South Asian mangrove forest is from India. 3%. Because 40% of the world's mangrove forest is from South Asia and Southeast Asian countries. Okay, 40% of the world mangrove forest is from South Asia and Southeast Asian countries. In that 40%, 3% is from India. 3% is India shares. Okay. So like that, you have to write a data. In India, which state tops in the mangrove forest? Absolutely, everybody knows that it's West Bengal. South Pargana district especially, it is having, West Bengal completely accounts for 42 point, nearly I think 75% something, 42.75% you can check. Okay, so it has mangrove forest cover. In that, the south 24 Parganas district is there, it is having around 41 point some dot 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 percentage. So it is carrying the largest mangrove forest, and we already discussed about that. Sundari trees, Sundarbans, Royal Bengal tiger, all these are present there, okay? And certain other more unique species are also present, like mud skipper fishes, all these will be there. This will be studying in mangroves when you're going. We'll be detailed, we'll study all these things. But come to the next state. Have you ever wondered which is the second state which is holding the largest number of mangrove forest in India? And what is the third state or union territory? Even you can include union territory. So the second state is Gujarat, which is accounting for around 23% of mangrove cover, and comes Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which is accounting for 12.60% or something of mangrove cover is present in India. So this way you have to make a small detailed note about mangrove forest cover in your NCERTs. So when you are making a revision, you can easily remember these. So then come to the next topic, forest conservation. So what are the initiatives we are taking for conserving the forest? So for that cases, already we have done a bit. You can read again, same thing is given here. But here they have added something called as forest policy. Okay, National Forest Policy. So for 2 times we have created the forest policy. Once long back in 1952 we have created, then we modified it and brought it in 1988. So this year it's a year-wise classification. It's important, 1988. Since after that we have not amended anything or created a new forest policy, so we are following this policy only. So what is the main aim of this policy? As you can see, everything is detailed given here. New forest policy, government will emphasize the sustainable forest management. SFM, sustainable forest management, in order to conserve one thing, to protect, and then to expand the forest cover. Okay. So for that purpose, we have created this forest policy. So all the initiatives which the government is taking is based on this forest policy only, based on the aim and objective of the forest policy. So the aim of the forest policy is given here. So number one, 33% increase in the geographical area under forest cover. We are doing it. We have enhanced around, we are making it, we are even, moving ahead of this goal, including the open forest, not the complete forest, including the open forest, tree cover, everything if we include, we are ahead of it. But still we have to achieve, still we have to increase further. Okay, so this is the main aim of the forest policy. Then all these are aim and ambitions, maintaining environmental stability and to restore forest where ecological balance was disturbed. Okay, and not only that, see, around this much aims and objectives are there, and conserving the natural heritage of country, its biological diversity, genetic pool. Checking soil erosion, extension of the desert land, and reduction of floods and droughts. So in order to stop desertification and in order to stop soil erosion, in order to stop the droughts and floods. So there comes another convention also. No, it is connected with this forest policy. That is UNCCD. So when I say like this, so try to connect and learn, students. So this UNCCD, United Nations Convention to combat desertification and drought. This is another convention. United Nations Convention to combat desertification and drought. This is another convention. So this convention was also a mother convention, we will call, which was proposed during the Rio summit. Now we are connecting UNCCD convention with the forest, through forest. That first time India has introduced a program in the name of anybody? Aravalli Great Green Wall Project, which is talking about combating desertification and drought through forest intervention. For that, we have introduced this program called as Aravalli Great Green Wall Project around the Aravalli Hills, because now Aravallis are turning to deserts. Okay, because nearby there is a Thar desert. In order to protect it, we have introduced through forest interventions. So it's called as Aravalli Great Green Wall Project. So that's why I told you, when you're learning your NCERTs, what you have to do, you have to connect with the current affairs when you're reading, and you have to connect and write small sticky notes. I hope you will all have. UPSC students will always live with sticky note. Try to stick there and write about this project. one line, connect here. Okay, suppose some questions are asked in mains exam, you should know to connect the programs and schemes inside when you're writing. Anna, so that's how it makes it as a wonderful answer. So here, this point especially. Then increasing the forest cover through social forestry and afforestation on degraded land. Already we have discussed this, social forestry initiatives. Increasing the productivity of forest to make timber, fuel, fodder, food available to rural population dependent on forest, encouraging the substitution of wood. So for this also, the social forestry program will help. Then creation of massive people's movement involving women to encourage planting of trees. So awareness program. They're talking about awareness program. For that also, a lot of NGOs, civil society organization are combining with government. They're generating awareness. Even the One Mahotsav, we told, no, the forest festival we're celebrating is based on this only. So connect that. You have to write One Mahotsav. These types of programs we are celebrating and government is encouraging that now. So it is all based on this National Forest Policy in 1980. Have you identified now who is the root cause of all these things? The root cause and the basic foundation is the National Forest Policy in 1988. See this? Come to this and all, just a kind of story. If you want to give a read, you can just read it. Then come to this particular point. See this social forestry. This is one way under the National Forest Policy in 1988. We are trying to increase the forest cover through social forestry. So they have given the description. Already we have seen that in a small paragraph in the previous NCERT classes, small version NCERTs. But now in the 11th standard, they have given a detailed description of social forestry. As I already told you, see this. This is for protection of forest and afforestation on barren land with the purpose of helping in environmental protection and development, social protection and development, rural protection and development, all in one goal. That is social forestry. Okay. So you can just write, you can draw a diagram like this: rural development, social development and environmental development. This we can name as social forestry. This is going to establish our emphasis in this. See this, the classification we discussed previously. No, social forestry is classified into three categories. One is urban forestry, rural forestry, farm forestry. This way we discussed. No, so this was given by National Commission on Agriculture. They have given this classification and they classified social forestry into three categories. That is urban, rural, and farm forestry. So they have described in a detailed format here. They have explained what is urban forestry and you give a reading for this. This and all you have to read. Then rural forestry. While reading urban forestry, you can put a note here and say that nowadays a lot of programs based on urban forestry has been encouraged, like the Miyawaki forest, which was asked in UPSC exams already. So when you're writing a mains exam, then you can use this word, forestry. Okay. Then tree cities of the world. Tree cities of the world. Like this, we are having even the the greening of the highways. Okay, greening highways, all these are based on urban forestry only. So we are green belts we are creating, planting trees near the roadsides. So we call this as roadside avenues, and even commercial industrial belts, green belts, commercial green belts. Okay, so this way we are trying to bring lot of initiatives under urban forestry. Then come to the rural forestry. Rural forestry also, it's based on agroforestry. It is again divided into agroforestry and community forestry, as we know that. See, the agroforestry is related to. So again, they have discussed about what is meant by agroforestry and what is meant by community forestry. Agroforestry means in the cultivation of crops. There, intermediately, they will be planting trees. Okay, trees will give fruits, various benefits you'll get from trees, wood, everything. So for that purpose, they are having trees in between the cropland. But you go to farm forestry, then there occurs a doubt. What is the difference between agroforestry and farm forestry? Because both look similar. In the farm forestry, we are going to plant trees in between the farmland. In agroforestry also, we are doing that. What is the difference? So for that only they have said that, the farm forestry, not like agroforestry. In agroforestry, only the three types of forestry: agro-silvicultural, silvopastoral, and agro-silvopastoral. Three things. I already gave the name for that. In the previous classes, I have discussed. So that comes under agroforestry. Either the farmer, along with the, crops, they will plant trees. Or either with the animals, the pasture land. For animals, mean not animal will stand and nearby tree will be planted. Not like that. pasture land for animal, grasslands where the animal comes and eat the grasses, that is called as pastures. So along with the pastures, trees will be cultivated. Otherwise, pasture land, mix of pasture land, cropland, trees, all together. That is called agroforestry. But if you come to farm forestry, in the farm forestry, the trees are given by the saplings are provided by the government. The farmers will use it either mainly for the commercial purpose. Completely, the land will be filled with trees only. So that is farm forestry. That is commercially. Non-commercial purposes, if they are using in the farmland, they will plant few trees then and there, wherever there is a place, they will plant it. They will reap the benefit because of that. Okay. So this way we can say. Then come to the wildlife. Wildlife already we have discussed a lot, and here the same thing is given. Okay, so as we can see that same, you can also give a reading, and so these are the threat faced by wildlife. If you want, you can note this threat faced by biodiversity. Biodiversity. Why there is less decreasing biodiversity? So then you have to know. These are some of the reasons that there is fall of biodiversity in the particular places, or which is posing threat to the wildlife. Then wildlife conservation. Come to this. Like 1972 Wildlife Act was enacted. This already we have discussed. The two is here. The objectives were given. If you want, you can note it. The two main objectives of the act are to provide protection to the endangered species, which is listed in the schedule of the act. Already I told that there were schedules. At the end of the act, they have given schedules. Previously, it was 6 schedules. Now it is 4 schedules. But now they are saying that to protect those endangered species which are listed in the schedule and to provide legal support to the conservation areas of the countries, like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, community reserve, conservation reserve. Okay, all this has to have a legal status. No, that legal status comes from this Act, 1972 Act. Okay, so then we can come to here. We can come here. So this and all you have to modify. There are 106 national parks now. 557 wildlife sanctuaries are existing. So please modify it. Note this particularly, please. This 18, we have already seen only the names of the 18 biosphere reserve, but this way only you have to study. In this way only in the ministry site also will be given. So they will be giving the year when this was announced as a biosphere reserve, how much kilometer it is covering, and what are those which are part of this biosphere reserve. One time they asked a question with related to this Nilgiri biosphere reserve only, I think. No, Agastya Malay biosphere reserve. They asked which are the part of this particular biosphere reserve. Not only the areas, they asked for the tiger reserves, wildlife sanctuaries, which are part of this particular biosphere reserve. So you have to be very careful when you are reading the particular biosphere resource. Okay, so you have to see here and all they have given. This hills, this tiger reserves, all these are part of. See, they are given part of Vayanadu, Nagarkol, Bandipur. This way they have given the areas. Go and search for the tiger reserves. All these are tiger reserves also. So you have to know these are present inside that. That way you have to make a note, right? So this is only the location they have given. But you have also should add one more table here. Location is not that much important. You have to know which states and all it is covering. Which another state is present. Nilgiri means it is covering 3 states. Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka. That you have to know. But when you are adding another important area, that if there is any tiger reserves which is present inside, or whether any wildlife sanctuary which is present inside. This too is very important related to the even elephant reserve also you can add if you want. So these are some of the details which you have to note. Okay. Then we'll go to this, see this biosphere reserve we were talking, no? So this is the main objective of a biosphere reserve. This diagram you can note and keep. The objective, the main objective, that diagram is not. The diagram, no, related to, there are 3 layers of biosphere reserve. You would have definitely, you can add that here. It is not given. If you want, you can add the 3 layers, we will say. One is, see, this is the core layer, which is inside. Core, okay? The core zone, we call this as core zone. Then comes the next one. This is called the buffer zone. And then comes the transitional zone. We call this as transitional zone. This way only a biosphere reserve will be formed. So this core area should nothing is allowed inside except the study, that is research, and for a research and analysis only the scientists will enter this core zone. Otherwise, people's activities are not allowed there. But buffer zone, no, it has not only the scientific research but educational purpose, even restricted tourism is allowed inside. Okay, but come to the transitional zone, all the activities like the business people, the civil society organization, the tourism operators, the humans, the forest dwellers, no, all these people will interact in this area, in this zone only. So mainly this is for the upliftment of the people as well as the protection of the animals which is present inside the biosphere reserve. So that's why we call this as transitional zone, and it's very important that we are connecting development with conservation. Okay, so that's why the objective itself is conservation and development. We are not segregating the people. If you go to a national park, a tribal cannot come inside. Okay, so there are a lot of restrictions which has been inflicted on the people. But in case of biosphere reserve, they are always situated along the biosphere reserve. So the development along with conservation will take place. So that's the main aim and goal of the biosphere reserve. Already, I hope this was asked in different format in the question paper. So you have to be very careful while reading it. So here, the people will reside along this transitional zone. The livelihood, settlement, human settlement, everything will be here, along with research and analysis. Okay, study purpose, even tourism. All these activities will take place. But the core zone is completely devoid of human habitation. You have to know that, right? Right. Then, so come to this particular area. All this we have already done. The Project Tiger 1973, Project Elephant 1992. Okay, so this we have done. So they have given a description about it. So now there is nothing matched here. You can go and check how many tiger reserves are in India, how we are maintaining it, which authority is responsible for maintaining these tiger reserves. Okay, and tiger census. Along with that, you can also note something related to tiger census also. Okay, so the National Tiger Conservation Authority. By amending the Wildlife Protection Act, okay, around 2006, we have introduced this body, the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Now, that Project Tiger has got converted to statutory authority, that is NTCA. Same way, Project Elephant. They are talking about Project Elephant and the elephant resource. Also, it's important. Even elephant census. When you're reading elephant census, you have to know certain details related to which state is having largest elephant population. Like this, you have to know. Okay, apart from this, they themselves have said the crocodile breeding project, Project Hungul, this and all we have already discussed. Okay, even Project Snow Leopard, Musk Deer, all this are already done. So that's it. Now we'll move to the next NCERT. Yes, so this is the 12th standard NCERT we have entered. Here in this particular chapter, what and all you have to read that I'll be saying. So it begins like this, population. It begins with population. Not much detailed study of population is required, but still you should know what is population. The definition I already told. Whatever terms are coming, you have to know about that. So if you want to see in the first paragraph, especially we can see here, the single individuals of any species, majority of them living in groups in a well-defined geographical area, share or compete for similar resources, potentially interbreed and thus constitute a population. So this is a definition for population. This is the largest definition. In simple definition, if you want to say, so they are looking similar, okay, similarly looking individuals in a particular location who can interbreed among themselves. They have to breed, and that breeding, successful interbreeding it should be. After breeding, the offspring which is born to them, it should be fertile, not sterile. Okay, so that type of that group only we call as population. Okay, so then see this. Even though this is the right definition for population, even those who enter into asexual reproduction, similarly looking people who are entering into asexual reproduction also we are describing as population only. That way they have given certain definition for you. And this and all is elaborate discussion about population. This much in-depth discussion is not required. So what you can do is that, see this, come to the last part of this. See this. This they're talking about human population. How will you consider a human population based on age pyramid? That way they are discussing. So we can go down, deep down. Now the population growth. How and all the population growth can happen. For this diagram you can use. Not only for humans, any individuals, any wild species. This is the major reason for the growth of population of the particular area. One thing is natality, that is birth rate. How much species are born in that particular period, they will be calculating. Then another is based on immigration. This will lead to growth in population. This will lead to decrease in population. That's why they are shown as minus symbol This is shown as plus symbol. Okay, so minus symbol based on mortality. How much organisms are dying in the particular species? Otherwise, emigration. How much are moving away from that particular area? Okay, so based on this only, we are describing a population. Then come to the last place. This and all is not required. Right? Come down. Come down. This is important topic, that is population interaction. How a population is interacting among themselves. In this line by line, you have to read. The statement is very important. That's why I told you interaction is a topic from which nowadays questions are appearing. See this. Any species, for any species you take, either it can be a plant or either it can be an animal, the minimal requirement is one or more species on which it can feed or which it can be a prey. Okay, so either it can feed it, that is, it can be a predator eating them, or it can become a thing to prey for that particular species. So in this way, every species in the particular earth is connected. So even a plant species which makes its own food cannot survive alone. So you can say that okay, plant is making its food. Why it requires others? Why it has to depend on others? Yes. How it can depend on others? Ask a question to yourself. So there comes an answer for reproduction, especially spreading of the pollens, spreading dispersal of seeds. These are the two reasons, main reasons it is depending on others. Not only that, for its survival. Now, it does not live in water only. It does not live in water, no, it requires certain nutrients to grow. How this nutrients it is getting? It is getting from the soil. Who is responsible for that nutrients? Decomposers and other processes also. We already studied about the nutrient cycles, know how nutrients are circulating in the soil and the atmosphere. So decomposers, so here they rely on decomposers, that this organisms which decomposes the dead organic matter is providing those nutrients in the soil. The soil's fertility get increases and this plant is taking those nutrients from the soil. So plant also requires someone there. This is called as interaction. So for the spreading of their species, okay, so through the pollen grains or the dispersal of seeds and for its own nutrient enrichment. So that's why it is given here. It needs soil microbes to break down the organic matter in the soil and return the inorganic nutrients for absorption. And then it is not only that, also pollination and the seed dispersal. Okay. And that's why we are saying anything in this world cannot live in isolation. Not only animal. As Aristotle, man is a social animal. Man has to live in the group. Not only man, everyone has to live in group only. Either it can be the member of their own species or it can be an interspecies. Okay. So, as I can say that they cannot live in isolation. They interact in various ways to form a community. There occurs a community. So, we talked only about population. In population, next stage is a community. So even in minimal communities, many interactive linkage will exist. Okay. So interspecific interaction and intraspecific interaction. These are two types of interaction, I can say. One is interspecific, another is intraspecific. Intraspecific means interaction among the own community. Humans interacting among themselves. That is intraspecific interaction. Interspecific interaction means humans interacting with plants. Interacting means you are not going and talking with the plant. It means you are eating the plant. You are relying on the plant. Humans interacting with the animals, with the cows, with the hens, okay, with the birds, with microbes, with even our own body is consisting of gut microbiome. It's a microbiome, okay. So a lot of microbes live in it. So interspecific interactions will take place, and that is very much important for the survival of the ecosystem. Because where the interaction of population of two different species will occur, that is called interspecific. When two different population interact, when humans and I can say fish is totally a different population. We are interacting with the fish, and humans and fish, that is two different interaction taking place. Two different population coming into interaction. So this is called as interspecific interaction. Okay, so that could be either beneficial, detrimental, or neutral in character. If I am interacting with another group of population, it can be beneficial to me, or it can be dangerous to me, or it can be, if I am interacting with the dinosaur community, what will happen? Dinosaur will completely wipe out. No, now it is not there. But previously, flying dinosaur will come, eat people, catch away, go away. Detrimental, beneficial. I am going to a sea. I am fishing. Okay, it is beneficial for me. I am interacting with the fishes. Neutral. I am just sitting. There is a group of tree plant which I know never eat. Never I cannot eat it. I don't touch it, but it's still there. I am just seeing them. It's a kind of interaction. It's a neutral interaction. They are present in the same place where I am also living, but there is no interaction between me and that plant variety. It's an interaction. It's a neutral interaction. Okay. So that way we can say, so assigning positive sign for beneficial, negative sign for detrimental, 0 for neutral. So you can see in this particular table, you can note this table. It's important. So two species coming together. Species A, species B. Species means this is different group of organism. This is different group of organism. So here they are given the names of it. Very important, students. Last 3-4 years, you're getting a lot of questions from this interaction unit. So when two species are interacting and they have benefit for each other, species A taking benefit from species B taking benefit from species A, then we call that as mutualism. Okay. So apart from this also, there are a lot of interaction is going on between organisms, but these are very important. So if both are harming each other, we call that as competition. If one is getting benefit, another is getting harmed, we call this as predation. And one is getting benefit, another is harmed. This is otherwise can be a parasitism. So one is getting benefit, other is neutral in this commensalism, and same negative. Another is neutral commensalism. So this way you're going to read this chapter. Everything is important. From here it has to be read. So they have described. See this mutualism means what? Competition means what? Parasitism means what? Predation, commensalism, amensalism. They have described it. So they started with the predation. What is predation? So one eating the other, that is called as predation. Completely killing it, eating it. That is called predation. That is called food chain. So I told you, here interaction, will be connecting it with the interaction of the flow of energy. That is food chain. Okay. So predator will try to kill and eat its prey. Example, a tiger chasing a deer. A lion chasing a gazelle or antelope. Okay, this way. A fox chasing a rabbit. All these are a predator chasing the prey. Okay, starting even a mouse chased by the snake, mouse chased by the cat. All these are predation. So I can say that animals eating plants are also called as herbivores, but it's also a kind of predation only. Animals going and eating them, right? So this is a kind of predation. So I say that there is a transfer of energy because of this trophic levels takes place, and that predators plays a very important role in the transfer of energy. So they have various uses. You can read this. How the predator is keeping the check for prey. Prey will always be abundance, predator will be less. If you take the deer species, will be abundant. Okay, the population of deer is abundant. But when you take the lion or a tiger, it is comparatively low. But that tiger and lion is very important to manage this that deer species. Okay, and come to this particular area. They're talking about exotic species. What will happen if exotic species is introduced in a particular geographic area? It becomes invasive. So we call this as invasive species only, and it starts spreading completely, and it invade the entire land and becoming a natural predator. And sorry, it does not have its natural predator. So there is no predator for it because it is an exotic species. Nobody is going to eat it. For example, cane frog was introduced to protect the sugarcane farms. Cane frogs by the African farmers to protect the sugarcane farms. But what happened? There is no predator for this crane frogs. Usually snakes which feeds on frogs. Okay. A snake which feeds on this frogs and other animals, other small carnivorous animals which feeds on frogs. But what happened? Since this frog is poisonous, those who touch this, those who eat this frog will die. So who is going to touch him? So this became an invasive species. It started eating all the small insects there, and there is no resource for the native species which is present there. Native species which used to rely on those insects cannot get its food, and cane forest cannot be predated by any other species. So its population started increasing. So that's how they have given certain examples for you. As you can see, the invasive cactus was brought in Australia. There was an invasive cactus, prickly pear cactus, which was introduced. Okay, in the early 1920s. With this, I'll conclude. This cactus became spreading over all the areas. So then, in order to control this, they brought cactus feeding predator, a moth. Then only this cactus species was controlled. Same way in India also, we are having a lot of invasive species. Only through the predatory introduction of exotic species only we can control them. Okay, so from here we will take over tomorrow. We'll see what are the other areas which we can read in this particular unit, and the next two chapters which we'll be seeing from the 12th. And then tomorrow, I think the end of the session now. So we'll also have some quiz. Okay. So here I'll end the session. Thank you all. We'll meet again. Have a great night. Okay. So tomorrow, sharply at 7 p.m.